Hey everyone, welcome to our third week. Hopefully this week won't be as much work for you as last week was. I know last week we were taking in all kinds of information about protest music and the First Amendment and censorship and really just trying to formulate our ideas and to begin our writing process. This week should be a little less strenuous because most of the thinking part has been done. And so now we are just going to work on taking the rough draft that you were working on last week, and we're going to start that polishing process. And hopefully by the end of this week, you will have your first essay completed and one that you're very proud of. So let me walk you through a little bit here of what we've got going on for week 3. You're going to see it's a little lighter. All right. So you're always going to find our weekly lecture video here at the top. I have a search and destroy editing tips for you. This is a PowerPoint, and I want you to go through this before you post your rough draft onto the discussion board. I have a lot of things here that I really want you to focus on eliminating in your writing. Some of those things are, our personal pronouns, which you're going to see. I have a couple of articles that are posted a little further down, and they're going to be discussing, ways to take out I and me and you and all of those kinds of personal pronouns that we're used to writing. We want to learn how to eliminate those from our discussion post. So let me just come through here a little bit with you. You can see, these phrases, I believe that, or in my opinion, we want to take those out. Truthfully, your best argument tends to follow what you're saying right here. These are kind of filler words and they weaken your argument. So I want you to be able to get right to the point and be very direct with what you're saying. So you can say, I believe that Texas is a wonderful state to live in, or you can take this I believe that and just come right out and say Texas is a wonderful state to live in. It just makes it much stronger. It makes it more concise. So we're going to go through and we're going to eliminate all of these because we're not writing about you. We're writing about the protest song and we're analyzing that. So we're going to take you out of it and make it all about the music. All right, you can see I have some other ones that we're going to take out also, these other pronouns, they, we, us, and you. The problem here when we're saying us and them and they is those are very ambiguous and very vague. You're going to see the media does this all the time. They are causing all this trouble, but I really don't like this imaginary they and us and we in society. So instead, I would rather see you go ahead and use the specific group or artist that you're talking about, or the subject that you are wanting to mention. So if you're saying, they wrote this really great song, just take out they and put in the name of the artist instead. Okay, so another thing that we have an issue with sometimes with ambiguity is this. So I want you to go through your essay and you're going to circle this wherever it appears. And then I want you to show me exactly which word, draw an arrow to it, draw an arrow to exactly what this refers to. Now, if you don't have anything that this refers to, then take that out and rewrite the sentence so that there is. Hopefully this makes sense. An example might be someone saying, this is ridiculous, but this is vague and we're not really sure what someone is talking about. You could say censorship is ridiculous or protest is ridiculous. Like, be specific about what this actually is, because one of the things we want to get down in writing is to be specific. Never let somebody else define your argument for you. So we don't want to be vague. We want to tell them exactly what we mean. So this is why I'm really particular about taking those weak and ambiguous pronouns out of your writing. Here's some extra wordiness we want to take out. There is, there was, there are, there were, it is, it was, and it may be. So we want to rephrase those. Just take them out, make it strong, lead with the subject instead of a pronoun. Here we have some strong verbs, that we want, well, we want to use strong verbs. These are all weak. We want to shift these out as much as possible. So sometimes it's not convenient to do this with every sentence that we have, but you can probably do this with about half of them. So these are known as our passive verbs, and many of you guys have probably heard that you want to start working in active voice instead of passive voice. And this is one way that we can start doing that. So go ahead and start taking at least half of these out. If I see a lot in your writing, I'll start, showing you, here's some, and here's how I would take it out or rephrase this. Okay, so like if you're saying, he is being good, you could maybe change that to, he behaved properly or something. So you're just going to flip your words around a little bit to be a little bit more specific. All right, so one of the challenges you have for this essay is to integrate your quotations into your writing, and also to mention your artist and your song. So this should be done in that very first paragraph. That first paragraph should let us know who you are writing about and which piece of music that you have chosen. So here's some examples of how you can kind of integrate that into your own writing instead of just having it sit there kind of awkwardly. When you get to the part where you are in your body paragraphs, the body paragraph 2 and 3 should be using integrated quotes from the song. Here's an example of how I would work those into my own way of writing. Now, there's a couple things you might notice. Since I'm using Wordsworth right here, I don't have to use his name in my citation. The 263 is part of the MLA in-text citation, telling that you're going to find it on page 263. Now, you're not going to have this most likely for your song. So as long as you have the artist's name in your sentence, that would be sufficient for citing. If you don't, like you can see here, I wrote it without using the Wordsworth's name at all in this sentence. I just have his quotation. You would just go ahead and put the last name of your artist right there, and don't worry about the page number. We're not working out of an actual text, we're using music. So let's just go ahead and make sure that in that first paragraph, you have identified the name of the song and the artist. So that's going to count really for your works cited on this particular page. Okay. All right. So secondary sources, if you're doing some other research and pulling that kind of information in, those are great. I know we had a video on protest music. Some of you might want to use some of that to help build your stuff. Just remember, we absolutely want to give credit to anything that we're using. So if you're taking anybody else's words or ideas, it absolutely must be attributed. You have to either, let me know who you're speaking of, where you got this information from, or give it a citation of where it came from. We do at Temple College use a program called Turnitin, and so that does go through and it looks for any kind of plagiarism. So it's going to highlight anything that you have, and you're going to see when you turn it in that your lyrics are going to be highlighted most likely, and that's okay. The thing that I'm more concerned about is other areas being highlighted that are not the lyrics and that are not your words, and especially if they are not cited. So the citation is the big deal. The difference between citing, the work that you're copying here and not citing is one is good research and the other is plagiarism. So always err on the side of giving credit wherever you found this. It could be according to Wikipedia, according to this video, and then put in quotation marks any idea or words that do not belong to you. So this is the first step that you're going to do before you post your draft. So this part of the editing process is yours. Once you have that done, you're going to come here to the peer review checklist. Now, you do know that you need a thesis statement for this. Sometimes it's been a little while since someone's done a thesis statement. I am going to talk about these on Tuesday night in the Zoom class. So feel free to jump in with questions about thesis statements. And I do record those and put them at the very bottom of each week's content. So you can see we had that for last week. And you're going over this essay. So if you want to go back and rewatch that for some ideas, I give you an example in a PowerPoint of how I break down the Cranberry Zombie song. But this Tuesday, we'll be talking about thesis statements. So hopefully you can come in and join if it's been a while since you've done that. I'll also talk a little bit about MLA. But these resources are right here for you also. Now, your peer review checklist, the way this is going to work is you are going to copy and paste your essay from the Word document that you're using. You should have your heading that's done in MLA format. You can look back on the assignment sheet for the directions on how to do that. That's down towards the bottom. You're going to copy and paste it and put it into the discussion board. Now, once you do that, you are going to find somebody else's essay. Now, I really only want one person editing another person's essay. So you just let them know, hey, I'm going to review your essay. And just leave them a note there so that way they know that you're going to be working on their essay and other people know that that essay is already taken. So you're going to copy and paste these 8 questions onto a Word document and go through their essay and answer these questions. When we're working on a peer review, we want to make sure we're giving really good, helpful, specific, and kind feedback. We don't want to say, oh yeah, I really liked your essay, it was great, because that doesn't really help anybody do something better. And we don't want to tear it apart either, because that's not our goal. Our goal is to encourage people to do a better job, not to bring them down or to denigrate any types of writing that they're doing. We are all in a first year composition class in college. So there's, probably going to be work that needs to be done by all of us. But you can see here, these 8 questions that I'm asking are pretty much a guideline of what I'm looking for. This is the content I'm hoping to see in your actual essay. Okay. I want to see that you're introducing the artist in the song. I want you to start practicing with that MLA format. We're going to use it in every one of our essays. I want you to start working on those introductory paragraphs and learning to introduce a topic before you introduce a song. We want to make sure that you have a thesis statement as the last sentence in that first paragraph. I want to make sure that your body paragraphs have a good topic sentence that's supporting your thesis statement. And I'll talk about this on Tuesday night. I want to make sure that you're using textual evidence. You need at least 2. I want to see one in each one of those body paragraphs. And then, let them know what areas you think this paper is the strongest. Maybe they have wonderful vocabulary usage. Maybe they're just really good about analyzing something. And then give them some tips on what they can do to maybe make it better. Maybe they might want to run this through Grammarly, and maybe you found a couple comma splices or a run-on or something, or maybe they need a little bit more evidence. Maybe it's a little too short and they should probably expand. You can give them some good advice there. So once you have this done, go ahead and, recopy and paste that and stick it into the discussion board so that person can go through your feedback on their essay and make it better. Now, you have until Sunday night to turn in your final draft. So I'm asking that you have these in a little earlier this week to give them some feedback. It's really important that we give people enough time to have this done. So I would shoot for having my rough draft posted by Tuesday night. And then I would try to have the feedback done by Thursday night, because that just gives people a couple extra days to fine tune that essay. Not everybody wants to work on the weekends, so they might be able to knock it out on Friday and call it good. But this is the main thing that you're going to be working on this week. So you do have your discussion here. You can see that's all the writing I have you doing is working on that rough draft and putting it on there and doing the peer review. We're not going to do anything else this week other than that for writing. Grammar, our grammar this week is going over how to use quotation marks and how to use italics. I've made a little video here for you, so please watch that since it is included in your essay. I do have a short little quiz that you'll take right here. I think there's only about 5 questions on that one, so it's not too long. We'll go over that. And then once again here, just to let you know how absolutely important this is to know, take out second person. I have a short little PowerPoint on the 2 worst words in academic writing, and these are the ones I tend to go after most when I'm editing. And so let's take those out. Other than that, I hope you guys have a really great week. If you can come join us on Tuesday nights, feel free to do so. If not, we'll try to record it and get it there for you. As long as people are showing up and participating, I'll keep doing those Zoom meetings. I'll only take them out if they're no longer helpful for you. Other than that, you have a great week. I'll see you on Tuesday.